Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Uh, First of all, Pratham, uh, congratulations to you. This is your first attempt.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It's my first attempt.
This is your first attempt, and you have completed your graduation last year only in
Yes,
24 only,
yes,
and
sir.
with sociology as your major,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's excellent, and you come from UP,
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
and your hobby is listening to playing
Sir,
guitar.
playing guitar. Yes, sir.
Playing guitar, that means you would be interested in some Western music. Are you?
Uh, sir, basically, sir, I am not very interested in Western music as such.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
love to play guitar. I usually play Bollywood songs like.
Bollywood songs only. Okay. Tell me, one of the India's music maestros, he's the only one to have written a symphony, which was played by Phil Royal Harmonic Orchestra, Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Uh, who is this gentleman?
Sir, I think I'm not aware about it. I need to read about it, sir.
Okay, so read about it. Since you are
Yes, sir.
interested in music, somebody may ask, and he was a great Indian maestro. And
Yes, sir.
he's the only one to compose one symphony which was played also, right?
Yes,
So no loss in knowing that. Okay,
yes, sir.
okay. The budget was presented. Sorry, economic survey has been presented. Can you mention five takeaways from that survey on five different counts? Please tell me what they discussed.
Sir, I have not read economic survey holistically yet, but I have read in the newspaper, sir. It has talked about deregulation for the economy. That is
That
something
is the
which
recommendation part. First, on the economy, what have they said? On the GDP,
sir, it has projected the growth for the GDP as 6.5% somewhere around that, sir. And I need to read about it yet, sir. I have not read it yet, sir.
and what is the projection for 2047 to be Viksit Bharat? How much growth rate?
So 7% growth rate for at least for a decade.
Okay. And what is GVA?
So GVA is basically sir gross value addition, sir. It talks about it is used in GDP calculation. When we calculate the GDP, we take GVA into account. GVA by agriculture sector, GVA by industrial sector, GVA by
So,
service sector.
what is the GDP and GVA calculated in the economic survey? It has been in all the newspapers.
Sir, GVA basically calculated as total value addition. Done. It is calculated on the basis of total output minus intermediate goods which are
Okay,
used.
good. Okay, tell me, how are our foreign reserves placed vis-a-vis all the cumulative international debt?
Sir, please pardon me, sir.
How are our forex reserves placed vis-a-vis our international debt?
Sir, our international debt is somewhere around $600 billion, and that is around 22%, 23% of GDP. And if we see our forex reserves is also around $600 billion. So we are, of course, in a comfortable position, sir.
Okay, so nothing to worry on that.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
give me three recommendations of the now. That is, I come to what you were mentioning initially. What are the three recommendations of the survey that would bolster our economy?
Sir, the first and foremost recommendation will be deregulation of the economy. That will ensure the boosting the private sector. And the second investment is the trust deficit. Currently, sir, in India, the people have a lot of trust deficit when it comes to the private companies. So I believe that can also something which is required to boost the economy, sir. These are the two basic recommendations that I'm thinking of now.
Okay. Now, from the sociology, we normally say the world is becoming flat. And we also say the organizational structures are also becoming flatter. As a student of sociology, can you explain using sociological parameters to say whether the society, Indian society, is becoming flatter or not?
So from flatter, sir, what it means, sir? From flatter, sir.
Oh, in the organizations, earlier there used to be several hierarchical steps. Now the hierarchy is breaking down. Even the lowest person can directly talk to the CMD. Let's say that. So the hierarchy is getting eliminated. So the organizations are becoming flatter. So do you think society? That's what I meant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I think, sir, at some level we are becoming flatter. For example, sir, now we have more avenues as society is moving towards achievement-based society. Now people have more avenues to rise to the ladder. But at some level, we will find, sir, the
So what is
hierarchy
the
is
principle? What is the principle of sociology that says you move up the ladder or down the ladder?
it's mobility, social mobility concept, sir.
I would
Which,
expect you to use your terminology as a student
yes,
of
sir.
sociology when you are answering me these questions.
Yes, sir. Now social mobility is more fluid. We can move across the social strata. And if we see, sir, hierarchy, as Max Weber has propounded that stratification will increase in modern society. So stratification has not gone yet away. And now we can see more sort of posts are there. For example, sir, we have now CEO, which is a new post in the hierarchy. Earlier, we don't have the CEO. So I believe, sir, at some level, the strata is becoming flatter. At some level, it is becoming more complicated, even before.
But tell me, even with the empowerment, economic empowerment, the women, they may be earning well or as much as their husband. But is she empowered? Is she empowered to take her own decisions? Or does she have the financial autonomy? What is your take on that?
Sir, I think, sir, the women in India are now joining the workforce. So economic empowerment is there, but still there are issues. When it comes to the family, sir, after joining the workforce, still they have not a very greater say in the family. And a very prominent thinker, Ali Hochschild, has said this double burden, sir, among the women, sir. Now they have to bear the burden of the outside as well as the inside of the families. It means women joining the workforce has not freed them to from the domestic work. Now they have to cope the both. So this is an interesting scenario, sir, which India is witnessing and the world is witnessing, sir. So I believe some reforms are required to ensure these process, sir.
Uh, One implementation of the legislation recently has impacted one of the institutions as defined in sociology. Which state, which institution in particular?
Sir, as far as I'm able to guess, I believe it's Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code. It's also news nowadays, sir.
Okay. So, which institution of is impacted by that?
Sir, I believe marriage will be more impacted from that, sir. The marriage
How?
intercaste. Sir, yes, sir. So there's a provision in Uniform Civil Code which is very concerning. That's in live-in relationship. When you are entering into the live-in relationship, then you have to have a certificate from the religious leader before entering into the live-in relationship, or even the eligibility of the marriage. For that, also you require a certificate from the religious leader. So it's a very, I can say it's very astonishing, sir, why the secular law has some provision where the religious leader has also very important stakeholder. So it's a
Okay.
cause of concern, sir.
All right. My last question to you is you come from Kanpur,
Yes,
right?
sir.
In the last Republic Day parade, recently concluded, one product from made in Kanpur was flying in the fly past. Which aircraft was that?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about that, sir. I need.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ambassador Seth, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Uh, you've mentioned that is the very first time that, you appeared for the exams and you are through. That's really excellent, very creditable.
Thank you,
But
ma'am.
at the same time, the budget that was, not the budget, the economic report has said that the China factor is is very much present in our whole economy. How do you define? How do you explain that? And what are the factors that are there, and why?
Ma'am, we can see there's a lot of dependence over the China. if we see the data, we can find active pharmaceutical ingredients. India is the pharmacy of the world, but still 70% of the API comes from the China. And if we see the mobile market, this is also 75%. And if we see the automobile sector, it's 45%. So we have a lot of dependence toward the China. And the various factors can be low industrialization in India. We are still not able to boost the India. Apart from that, ma'am, I believe the indigenous manufacturing is very less in India. But now, due to the efforts,
If I may interrupt, why? Why is it so low?
yes, ma'am. Well, basically, we can see the structural issues with Indian economy. We directly jump from agriculture to the services sector. We miss the industrial sector part. I believe that can be the major cause why we are not able to do so.
And we're not able to do it competitively. We can't match the price. Many of our industries have shut down because of the imports from China, cheap imports from China, or competitive imports from China. So that is a big factor in our economy, is it?
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to cost competitiveness, we are lacking. We have to make the products very cheap. Only then we will attract to the global market. And leave the global market if you want to be very confident in the domestic market. At least you need to be cost competitive. So because of there are issues, ma'am, I think the corruption can be the one such issues. Various compliances can be the one such issues. Now central government is working in this regard. I think we have removed more than 25,000 of compliances, unnecessary compliances, which were unnecessarily increasing the prices. So we have to work in this sector, ma'am.
What do you know about India's neighborhood first policy? And what is India's neighborhood first policy?
Ma'am, India's neighborhood first policy basically means we are always giving preference to our neighbors, their interests, their concerns, and it is a big success. India's neighborhood policy is totally a success. We can see Sri Lanka. We have also given a assistance to Sri Lanka of $4 billion. The Maldives president has also again our relationship with Maldives is also improving. Maldives president has also asked the India to again increase the tourist which will in the Maldives. Bangladesh is also our very close ally. So our neighborhood policy is something which is a very big success. Of course, there is a
which countries are included in the neighborhood first policy?
ma'am, I believe except the Pakistan, all countries are there as far as I am able to recall them.
China is also a neighbor.
Ma'am, I am sorry, ma'am, I am not aware about whether China is included in neighborhood first policy or not.
Which other countries are included? Which other countries are included?
Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Myanmar. These can be countries.
They are included in the neighborhood first policy. And you think the policy has been effective all over, in all the countries?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, basically there are challenges.
Bangladesh mein kya?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. When it comes to our neighborhood first policy towards the Bangladesh, it's working good. But due to the political instability in Bangladesh, it's not the problem from our side. It's the problem from Bangladesh side. But after the political instability,
how do you think we can
yes,
tackle that? How can we tackle it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
With Bangladesh.
Ma'am, I believe the earlier the government was pro India, and we should try to again ensure diplomacy with the interim government in the Bangladesh and try to protect the interest of the minorities which are present in the Bangladesh. I believe that will work.
No, but what is the reason for the that this interim government? It's an interim government at the moment. Has become so inimical to India?
Ma'am, there are various reports which are saying that there is a rise of the radicalist in the government. So that is a cause of concern, of course. But at least there is no clear.
With the support of Pakistan, is it?
Yes, ma'am. There is a support of Pakistan is always there, but there is no clear-cut confrontation between the interim government and Indian government yet. We are trying to improve the channels of communication with the interim government.
And a last question on India-China. How do you see the relationship today? How would you define the current relationship with China?
I believe the current relationship with India and China is something which is changing. Earlier, we were more putting the border issue at back burner and trying to engage with the China in other matters. And that is what the policy of China is, salami slicing. China wants to always put border issues at back burner and trying to engage in economic things so that the China can gain the advantage. But now we have changed that thing. Now we have said no normal without no normal. We have to first solve the border issues, only then we will engage with China. So that is something which I think which is a good step by the government.
So the current relationship you would define as good, bad, okay, average?
Ma'am, it's at border level, it's very, I should say, not good. But at other level, now things are improving. We have resumed the visa. We have resumed also the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. So at these level, it's improving, but at bottom, it's not good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. How are you, Pratham?
Sir, I'm totally fine, sir.
Pratham, it has been said that in India, marriage has always been considered as sacramental in its nature. But as the cases of divorce are increasing day by day, people are believing that it is more becoming a contractual in nature. Even in Hindi also people are saying that पहले ये शादी एक पवित्र बंधन होता था, अब ये सिर्फ बंधन ही बंधन रह गया, इसमें पवित्रता खत्म हो गई है. What is your view in this regard? Is it still a contractual in its nature or it is still sacramental?
Sir, marriage, I believe it's historically sacrament in India, and I think still it's also a sacrament, a religious, spiritual event. There are certain issues with the marriage. Why there is a more breakdown of marriages?
No,
There's a problem.
first tell me, how can you have said that you believe it is still sacrament? What are the basis of your belief? How can you say it is still sacrament?
Sir, because sir, if we see the ceremonies which are conducted before the marriages, they are still playing a very important role. All those the ceremonies among the Hindu beliefs, for example, the Haldi ceremony and all these things, they are still there. Even if we see the grand marriages which are conducted at the grand level by a very elite section, they are also following that ceremony. Of course, at the grand level, there can be other reasons for that. For example,
Is celebrating ceremony a legal essential condition or it is just a social condition? They are doing it just because of the tradition or custom.
sir, I believe as far as my limited knowledge is concerned, I think it's only a social culture practices. There's no legal compulsion for that, sir, for a marriage to be solemnized. It's a more sort of social norm, sir.
Okay. Just to tell you that it is a legal condition in India also, as per Hindu Marriage Act. If you will not perform the ceremonies, marriage will not be solemnized. So it is also legal condition. Anyways, so
Yes, sir,
you are saying that it is sacramental, and why it is saying that it is contractual?
so contractual elements comes when there's a very prominent sociologist, sir, which has talked about the serial monogamy in Indian sociology. Serial monogamy means, sir, individuals are marrying with one individual at a time, but then changing their partners with consecutive level. So this is, I think, some sort of contractual element are being involved in the marriages, sir. But this is happening at very low level, sir.
Okay. And
Still,
what are the different? Can you tell any three important reasons behind the divorce cases increasing in India?
sir, over expectation can be the one such reason. Nikki Hart, a very prominent sociologist, has highlighted. Now we are expecting more.
Over expectation with respect to?
Sir, over with respect to everything, sir, with respect to responsibilities, with respect to priorities, we are expecting a lot from our partners. So this is something one can be reason, sir. The second reason is something, sir. The second reason can be, sir, as far as I'm able to think, sir, more nuclear family. Now there are more nuclear families, sir. So that can be one such reason, sir. Earlier we had the joint family, so the partners are more, I should say, more involved towards each other. Now we have the nuclear family, both are working, those things. So that can be one such reason, sir. The third reason which I can think of at this juncture is, at some level, I believe, sir, I'm able to think only two right now, sir.
Okay. So, is expecting from partner wrong?
Sir, I believe our relationship will be more sustainable when we think of giving rather than expecting, sir. It's not good. It's not bad, sir, as such, but over expectation is bad.
Over expectation is bad. Okay. Can you, Pratham, tell me any three laws or judicial precedents which empowered the women in India?
Sir, there was Vishaka guidelines. After that, the Post Act was also formulated. The second was the, sir, Sabrimala case, which allowed the woman enter into the religious shrine during the menstruation also. The third I can talk about the Shaira Banu, the triple talaq. These three, sir, are very prominent.
What was the rationale behind declaring triple talaq as invalid or unconstitutional?
Sir, as far as my knowledge is concerned, I believe these practice triple talaq is also an Islamic practice. It even did not exist even in the very Islamic countries. Like in Pakistan, is also banned. So how can we continue with the triple talaq, sir?
But we cannot basically take a base of other countries in our country. There must be certain logic behind giving any judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court.
Sir, as far as I'm able to recall, sir, it was said that that particular triple talaq was based on wrong interpretation of the Islamic law. It is an Islamic
O-
practice which is being existing in Indian society.
Okay. Currently, there is an election in Delhi government, and there is a very famous scheme of Delhi government that they are saying they will be giving 2100 rupee per month to the women. Do you aware about this?
Yes, sir. There's a scheme, sir.
And,
Yes, sir.
and even other government is also saying that they will be, if they will win, they will give 2500. Is giving 2100 to every woman without any classification, whether the woman is educated or not, whether the woman is basically employed or not. Is it not unconstitutional in its nature? Lack of any reasonable classification is there in it.
Yes, sir. Somewhere it has some sort of tensions with the Article 14. I believe, sir, it's not a good step to giving 2100 or 2500 to every woman. We can do some sort of classification, like bottom 30%, bottom 40%, we can give them, and rest 50% which are qualified and eligible enough to work. We should try to make them joining the workforce. I think that will something which will be more sustainable also. The economic wise also more sustainable, socially also more justifiable, sir. I believe, sir. And when we talking,
My last question to you is, what is freebies in your views, and how it is different from the social welfare?
sir, somewhere freebies are also the part of the social welfare scheme, sir. Though all freebies are not part of the social welfare, their freebies can be categorized into the two parts: the economic freebies and the social freebies. Economic freebies such as the free electricity, free water, these are the detrimental for the economy, for the society also. But when it comes to the social freebies, such as free buses service for the women, I believe these freebies are somewhere justified, as they will ensure the productive employment of the women. This will really make the women independent and also make them to engage in the working force. And this will be more sustainable for the long term.
Okay, Pratham. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Pratham, this concludes our interaction with you.
Yes, sir.
Right. And I think there is a marked improvement in that. But still, to make a very good impression of yourself in it, you need to pay attention to budget. But
Yes,
you
sir.
also have a lot of time, 24 फरवरी को ही तो है आपका इंटरव्यू. So
It's on
you have
24th.
so you have 3 weeks. So pay attention to budget.
Yes, sir. I have not read budget and economic survey yet. I will read it, sir.
Budget and
Today.
economic survey.
Yes,
Economic
sir.
survey, even if you don't want to, because it would be a very long document, but the
Yes,
key
sir.
takeaways, executive summary or something, you will find out. And
Yes, sir.
whichever academy has been training you, they will also give you they must have, they would be preparing something. So
Sir,
budget
yes,
right
sir.
now is being presented. So you should be aware of that. One.
Yes,
Two,
sir.
on sociology, when you are asked to do a comparison or interpret society, whether it's becoming flatter or not, you know, please try and use some terminology like stratification,
Yes,
mobility,
sir. I will, sir, work on it, sir.
right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
I mean, you should relate like a student of sociology.
Yes, sir.
And the consolidation of, if I have to extend it to the world politics, how the world politics is divided, how hierarchical the world politics is, and what is the status of global south.
Yes, sir.
So is there Sanskritization taking place, or is there upward mobility they are looking at? Their
Yes,
voice
sir.
needs to be heard. So think of all these things, okay?
Yes, sir.
And
Think of it. Yes, sir.
like on marriage, if it is a contract or not, you have to be very clear how it is contract, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
read it more carefully.
Yes, sir.
You need to read it more carefully. And when the marriage will be impacted, when you said that you were right, marriage will be impacted. How marriage will be impacted, you should be very clear. You see,
Yes, sir.
to me, by recognizing live-in relationship is like introducing a new form of marriage.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the
Yes, sir.
marriage, traditional marriage, as we understood, there may not be any sacred deal between the two.
Ye- Yes,
There is
sir.
nothing. It is their
Yes, sir.
choice. They are living together with the knowledge of their parents. That's
Yes, sir.
about all. And that too, if the girl is under 18. Just
Yes, sir.
because the age of marriage is different from age of majority for other purposes.
Yes,
So
sir.
be careful about those things. And when you frame your answers, look at these things very carefully. And
Yes, sir.
also work on a lot of other things, like you shake your head too much.
Yes,
I
sir.
can understand you are a young kid. I can understand that. That's fine. But if you can be more, I think, sophisticated in your presentation, that would be better. Instead of shaking too much of head, rocking in the chairs up, you are doing like this, like I'm doing now,
So
moving.
I don't sitting at chair right now, sir. I think that can be the reason, sir.
You are moving like this. So don't rock. Okay,
Yes, sir.
rock with your answers, with the substance in your answers. So prepare well,
Yes.
on economics, budget, your subject, your state, and your state. You have to your DAF. Okay. So
Yes,
think of these things. There could be any number of questions. If you are not able to answer any question, that is fine. It won't. You should tell clearly that I'm sorry, I don't know. Nobody is supposed to know everything under the sun.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
But
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
otherwise, look at our neighborhood. And one important thing is neighborhood first. Neighborhood by neighborhood first. It is not a grant making, India is not a grant making country.
Yes,
We are,
sir.
we are not the monetary fund for all these neighbors without any goodwill in return. So we are giving them so much. Is there any goodwill?
Sir, of
So,
course, we also. Yes, sir.
so think about those things that we have given 4 billion. You have given 4 billion. What have you got in return? So focus should not be on money. Monetary help is fine, but how the bonding is becoming stronger, how our relations are improving, focus should be on that,
Yes, sir.
right? So you have to reorient it. Maybe Ambassador would mention more on this. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Pratham, absolutely. You need to be more focused in your answers. Listen to what is being said and then answer. You're speaking too fast. Little voice modulation, little slower, it'll be better. And it'll help you to think also and formulate better. Absolutely, the neighborhood first policy is not only about our giving them, it is about a reciprocal thing. But yes, giving priority to the neighborhood, priority to their developmental needs, helping them with their developmental needs. But of course, we expect goodwill, we expect positivity. We don't expect them to stab us in the back, you know. So it is a
Yes, sir.
positive, it is a two-way reciprocity, but not we don't want expect them to be reciprocal in terms of trade or in terms of exact monetary, sort of term, in monetary term. Definitely, we have to do that, and China cannot be a part of our. It's part of our friendly neighborhoodness, neighborliness, but not part of our neighborhood first policy. It's all the smaller developing countries.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Pakistan is also was supposed to be part, but because of why is Pakistan no longer? Because of its terror support for terror. So we have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
have clarity on that and be a little more precise. We had to cut through. Everybody had to keep cutting you down because you were rushing and answering and going too fast and going beyond the answer. only what was asked. So just focus on that, practice a little bit. I'm sure you will do well because you have everything for you first try, and you're a good candidate. But little more, as Sir said, little more sophistication, little more, sthirta jise kehte hain, little more. Just be a little more calm, and you will do much better. All the best. You will
Yeah,
do
thank
well.
you.
You'll do well. All the best.
Thank you.
Yes, Pratham, you are a good candidate, no doubt. You have given answer very well, and you have a confidence also. But what I observed is that you always used to rush while giving answer. Before even you can take some pause. Let's suppose I asked, can you mention any three laws, and three laws which empowered the woman, and you had just started answering, and after answering 2 points, then you forget, and then you said, sir, now I can't remember. So instead of that, I believe that you can tell, but if you had taken one second or 2 second pause, even you can ask for the time. That is no, and there is no any harm in it. So you should not basically rush. And second thing is, when you start rushing, and when you start speaking so fast that sometimes you even forget the answer what you are trying to say. That suppose I had asked you one question, that what is marriage, a sacramental or a contractual? So if you are taking any stand, that suppose you are saying marriage is sacramental, then you must justify that stand and then move to the other one. So you just had taken the stand without giving the logics, you just move to the other point. So it is just because of the hurriness. So if you take care of this thing, then मुझे लगता है you can do very well. You are a very good
Yes.
candidate, and I best of luck for your interview. Thank you.